All right, everyone. Grade 9 students, we're going to introduce you to some vocabulary here. We have rational numbers and irrational numbers. Rational numbers are numbers that you know. And if I think about numbers that I know 1 and I know -3 and I go -1/2. These are all numbers that are rational. And these are the kinds of numbers that you're very familiar with. They include the set of natural numbers, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it also has the set of integers, which is Z, which is like -10 and 5 and 0 and -2. And then all of them together, all of these together are all these whole numbers. We get Q, which are all the fractional numbers too, -1/2. But 1 is also a fraction. -2 is also a fraction. So any number that can be written as a fraction, like 0.1 is a fraction, 0.3 repeating is a fractional number. These are all rational and they belong to Q. So a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So it looks like A over B. Irrational numbers are not included at all in rational numbers. It's all these sets. These are Q prime, irrational numbers. And these are numbers that cannot be written as fractions. The most famous one that you know is pi. It is approximately 22/7, but does not equal pi. It's a good approximation. 3.14 does not equal pi. It's an approximation. So this is the most famous irrational number. But if I have square root 2, that's irrational. Square root of 7, irrational. There's another number called E that is also irrational. We'll talk more about E in a few years. But any square root that does not simplify ends up being irrational. And so our two sets are rational numbers and irrational numbers. And these can't be fractions. Let's work with our numbers. We want to express these as mixed radicals. And so to do it, we look at our magic list, which is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, and so on. And I can see that this is 25 times 2. This I know is 5 root 2. 300 is 100 times 3. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to get 300, where one of them is a perfect square on this list, and 100 would definitely be on the list. What is the square root of 100? That's a nice net value. That's 10. This is irrational, and I just leave it as such. Same thing with 48. What two numbers multiply to get 48? Well, 16 times 3 make 48, which is 4 root 3. Now, if you didn't see that, if maybe you saw 4 times 12 is 48, I could do this combination too, which is 2 root 12. But this I know is 4 times root 3, which is 2 times 2 times root 3, which is 4 root 3. So you end up at the same destination, but through a different path. And finally, we'll do 52. I know 52 from playing cards as a younger person is 4 times 13. So 2 root 13 is our simplified radical. And it all comes down to looking at this list. Now we want to arrange in order from the smallest to the largest without the aid of a calculator. Well, the way these are now, I can't compare them. But what I do know that I could compare root 5 to the square root of 6. This one is largest. So if I can make these all under the square root, then I'll be able to go and compare them. So I'm going to work backwards now. I'm going to put this underneath the square root, and I can do that by squaring it. Root 2. 49 times root 2 is 98. Looking at this one, putting the 3 under the root is 9 root 7, and so that becomes root 63. Putting 2 under the root is 4 times 15, which ends up being 60. And finally, this is going to be 16 under the square root times 6, which is going to be 96. If my calculation is estimating is correct. So, smallest, this is the smallest, number 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. That's smallest to largest. Now, other surds or radicals, well, these are special ones, because look at this. This is a cube root. This is saying of 8. What that means, let's back up. I know if I have this is saying what two numbers that are the same multiply together to get 16. And you know the answer to that is 4. Well, when I have a little 3 up here, it's the same thing, but it's saying what number times itself 3 times equals 8. Well, that's 2 times 2 times 2. And so the cube root of 8 is 2. To this one, this is saying there's a little 4 there. What times itself 4 times gives you 81? Well, that's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 4th root of 3. If we're not so sure with this, we can call our calculator to do it for us. This first one, to find it, I go to my math menu. I go math, and number 4 there has a cube root there. I can say 8, enter, and I get 2. That's 2 here. Moving along to the next problem. If I want the 4th root, well, this one's a little bit trickier. I'm going to start with 4, type math, and then number 5 here, that little x there, the 4 I just typed in will represent the x. And it magically put it up there, 81, indeed gives me 3. So the final one now is the 7th root. What number times itself 7 times provides this? Well, I'll start with 7, go to math, hit number 5, and the number 7, 8, 2, 5, 4 is approximately 5.001011. So the 3 significant figures, 5.00 is the answer to that problem there.